Hi, I'm Lana Koifman, and this is my partner,
Victoria Tillotson.
and we are the Women of Surviving Beautifully project. We have been getting a lot of questions about the project and what Surviving Beautifully is all about.
Exactly.
So, Victoria, do you want to take it?
Sure. We really want to dispel any myths about what we're about. We really want to be able to be really clear about what we're providing as a service and how important the information is that we're providing. So, like Lana said, we did get a lot of questions, and I thought we'd address a couple of them this time so everyone can get a better sense of what we're doing. Okay. This first question comes from a woman named Anne in Minnesota, and she writes us, with so many sites dealing with cancer and so many blogs talking about personal experiences, why introduce Surviving Beautifully? How is it different?
Well, Surviving Beautifully was born from my personal experience. I was diagnosed with breast cancer 5 years ago, so it's been almost 5 years, yes. And at the time when I was scared and confused and devastated by the diagnosis, I also had to make a lot of decisions, that had to do with cosmetics and appearance and aesthetics. And one of them, a very important decision, is whether to have a lumpectomy or to have a full mastectomy, which the word mastectomy alone is a very scary word. And when you have to make this decision, you want concrete information as to what will I look like for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and I think we also want to stress that a lot of these decisions have to be made quickly, and so that it's really not the time to have, you really don't have the time to take to exhaustively research this kind of thing, and to really get information that may be confusing, or otherwise just really is not even available.
Well, I'm going to grab onto the word available, because since it was very important to me, I was 40 years old at the time, and I was diagnosed early. I was very lucky, and I'm hoping to live a long life. It was very important to me to know that I will have a quality of life. Right. But even if you're older and you still have to make these decisions, you still care. You don't want to walk by the mirror and cringe every time you have to look at yourself.
Exactly.
And so when I went on the internet, when I went to the books and to the library, and I tried to do exhaustive search, because cancer takes over your life, that's all you care about. And when I looked, there were no sophisticated, down-to-earth, modern materials that I could have utilized to make these decisions. And in my case, I was very lucky that a radiologist said to me that you have 4 lesions in your breast, and if you start doing lumpectomies on those regions, your breast will be completely deformed.
Right.
And thus, I opted for a mastectomy. And then, during the course of my treatment, and I had to go through chemotherapy and so on, a lot of questions arose. From big questions, I was told that I will lose a lot of my hair, not all of it, but a lot of it. What will I look like? What can I do? Should I buy a wig? Should I not buy a wig? To how fast my hair will regrow, down to little decisions. Like, for example, I asked my oncologist, can I use a self-tanner? She had absolutely no idea. And since then, I've encountered many, many women who reached out to me with very similar questions and were telling me that they cannot find information anywhere in one place that would answer these questions. So I think Surviving Beautifully will be answering these questions, and we will bring forth experts.
I absolutely agree, and I have to say, as the researcher and writer for this project, I had tons of trouble getting information. And I have access to doctors, and I had access to different kinds of sophisticated medical institutions and things of that nature, and I couldn't find information. And that set me on the quest to go deeper and deeper and find the stuff that I needed. And I'm not in a crisis situation, but I want to be able to help people who are. And so I needed to find the information. If it was hard for me as a professional writer and researcher, not in a state of crisis, we have to imagine that when you are in a state of crisis, it's even that much worse. Am I right?
Absolutely. And there's one more thing to bring into it. I read somewhere that the greatest suffering is the fear of the unknown.
Absolutely.
And I searched so much on sites, for celebrities who had gone under through cancer treatments, who had cancer themselves and went on to live happy, productive lives. And these role models basically kept me going, and we want to provide views into the future for people who are going through it now, the support of looking at someone who is a survivor and bring survivor stories, but bring them from a different angle, from an aesthetic angle, from beauty angle, and so on. Something that's very important for them.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm excited too. Also, people who don't necessarily identify with celebrities. I mean, not everybody does. Not everybody wants to look to Kylie Minogue, for example. She's very inspiring, but that may not be the person that you relate to. So what's also important is to find information that is appropriate for you to allow you to survive beautifully in your own way.
Absolutely. And that brings me to a question, Victoria, that we also received is there are a lot of people who are high-tech and low-tech and natural. How will we be addressing that in Surviving Beautifully?
Well, we're lucky because our board of experts really spans the gamut, from high-tech medical doctors, people who are high-tech dermatologists who do a lot of lasers, Botox, and really do the very most sort of sophisticated and up-to-date kinds of procedures, to people who specialize in holistic medicine, who specialize in natural skincare, organic skincare, or sort of wellness and so forth. And so we've really compiled a group of experts from all of these fields to address all these concerns. And also, we're mindful of the fact that, Lana and I live in New York. We have access to a wealth of information. We have access to things that many people do not. But that said, we don't make the assumption at all that this is how everybody lives. And we know that people have different lifestyle issues, different financial issues and so forth. And we really are going to provide information that goes sort of the whole spectrum so that you can find what's appropriate for you and make decisions that are really the right way for you to survive beautifully. And that brings me to something, actually, another woman wrote to us that cancer is such a serious disease, and don't you think it's a bit vain to speak about beauty issues in connection with cancer? What do you think?
I think it's absolutely not vain. Okay. It's not about vanity, it's about quality of life. My oncologist said to me, I would like for you to live as normal a life as possible, even going through cancer treatments. But, you're not in a normal situation. Okay? You must interrupt certain beauty treatments that you've had. You must interrupt your lifestyle. So it's very important for us to be able to give options to our viewers and tell them what is available at the time of treatment and beyond. So that once the treatment is over, if they want to go through rejuvenation or do something special for themselves, what are the options?
Right. Exactly. And beauty is more than skin deep, and we really have to deal with that, whether anyone really likes it or not. But, Botox wouldn't be $1 billion industry if people did not care about how they look. And also, what Lana said earlier, I think is very important. If you feel better about yourself, you're going to heal better. And I think that's really something we have to keep in mind, is the whole mind-body connection. If you feel bad and you physically feel bad and you look in the mirror and you also feel bad, that it just compounds it, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And cancer treatments do change the way you look. You have to, there will be dark circles under your eyes, there will be loss of hair, and so on and so forth. And we will be providing certain options as to how to deal with these issues quickly, so that you're not tiring yourself by putting on makeup
and using unnecessary emotional energy.
Exactly. And we have to remember that during the healing, there are a lot of things that go on in your life. There are still social occasions. You have to take care of your children and go to their school events, and you have to work. You want to appear competent and confident and basically yourself. You don't want cancer to rob you of you.
Right. That brings me to one more question that somebody wrote us, and she said, and this is a really good question. There are organizations such as the Look Good, Feel Better programs, and I think that they are in mostly major cities, and they deal with certain aesthetic issues. How is Surviving Beautifully better? Or different, I should say.
Well, there are wonderful organizations that have volunteers who come and help you apply makeup and learn to wear a wig and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, they are not here on a daily basis. So So even being in New York and being treated in Sloan, I encountered that I was able to find very few of these programs and only once a month. So if you have immediate questions that arise, unfortunately I was not able to find a beauty cancer encyclopedia that would answer these questions. And so that's number one. And number two, these types of organizations really deal with very basic issues of makeup application and, wig use. We want to expand it much further. We want to deal with reconstruction issues. We want to deal with healing scars and cosmetic, expert issues and plastic surgery issues. So we are
skin issues,
and skin,
dental issues. I mean, there are many things that crop up that a lot of people don't expect.
Yes.
And then suddenly are hit with, and want answers for, and answers for quickly.
And bring it into one place and tie it all together, so it's available readily.
Well, we'd like to hear from you too. We hope that this has answered some questions that you may have about our project, but we want to hear from you, so please send us questions. And videos. And hit us up on Facebook at Surviving Beautifully. You can also visit our website at survivingbeautifully.com, and also Twitter if you like to tweet. It's at Survive Beautiful, which is SURVIVBEAUTIFUL. Hello, the writer. And ask us questions. We want to hear from you, comments, criticisms. We want to know what your concerns are.
Absolutely. And we'll see you next time.
Sounds great. Bye-bye.